Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we are going to look at an example that illustrates the idea of population and sample. Okay, so in this example, we have the election polls. Suppose we have the election polls conducted in Malaysia to estimate the percentage of voters who favor the current government, and these election polls are based on only a few thousand voters selected from across the country. So based on this statement, can you identify what is the population of interest? So clearly, the population of interest is, if you look at this statement, the population of interest will be voters. Okay, voters in Malaysia. So that is the population of interest is voters in Malaysia. Okay. Next, what about the sample? So what is your sample? So the sample here clearly is just, the sample is few thousand voters. Okay, so sample is few thousand voters in Malaysia. All right. Next, why don't we get the whole population? Why do you think we use a sample? Okay, so why do we use a sample? So reasons using a sample. Can you think of any reasons of using a sample instead of the whole population? So reasons will be, well, if you think logically, the first reason would be related to cost. So by using a sample, of course, you will be able to reduce the cost. Next, you'll be able to save the time, because obviously when you have a sample, it is quicker to study or to analyze compared to having a bigger population, right? Compared to having a population. What else? Reasons of using a sample. Okay, maybe it is impossible to reach all area. For example, Malaysia ni luas. I mean, boleh ke you nak ambil sampel yang duduk dekat hutan-hutan, dekat kawasan macam apa panggil tu, kawasan perkampungan yang pedalaman. Okay, perkampungan pedalaman. Jadi ini adalah masalah logistik actually. So maybe dia ada masalah logistik. Okay, reasons for using a sample, because logistically it is not possible to reach those that stays far away. Okay, so that is logistic problem. So those are some of the reasons why people are using a sample instead of getting the whole population. All right, let's look at the next example here. So suppose the interest is to estimate the percentage of students who are overweight in UPSI. So percentage of students who are overweight in UPSI. So the sample consists of 100 students from Faculty of Sports Science. The results obtained from this study will be used to determine whether a compulsory fitness program should be introduced seriously at the university level. So do you think the sample is a good representative of the population? And state your reason. So since the population here, so first, in order to answer this question, we have to look at the population. So I hope you are able to identify that the population here is students in UPSI. Okay, population is students in UPSI, and he wants to identify, the research here is trying to identify the percentage of students who are overweight. So based on this, the sample selected here is 100 students from Faculty of Sports Science. Faculty of Sports Science, which is clearly this sample is not representative of the population, because the sample here just comes from Faculty of Sports Science. What about Faculty of Science and Mathematics? What about other faculties like faculty bahasa misalnya. Okay, jadi kalau you tengok kat sini, clearly this sample is not a representative of the population, because all of the sample here comes from one faculty only, which is faculty of sports science. Okay, next, why do you think a sample has to be a good representative of the population? Obviously, the reason why the sample has to be a good representative is to avoid bias in the analysis. Okay, so this is to avoid bias. So you boleh imagine ya, kalau kita ambil semua pelajar daripada faculty of sports science, result dia mungkin bias, sebab definitely bias lah, sebabnya student sports science usually they are more fit, tidak overweight. Jadi gambaran tu mungkin tidak tepat untuk menggambarkan situasi sebenar pelajar-pelajar di UPSI misalnya. Jadi result tu adalah bias lah. Jadi kalau kita ambil result based on sample that is not a good representative, then the result will be biased. So that's why a sample has to be a good representative in order to make sure there is no bias in the analysis. Alright, I guess that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching.